Hey, it's David Pingree. Welcome to another edition of Garage in Stock. Today we're on a 2016 YZ250F that's been gone through by Vortex and Twisted Development. Jamie Ellis over there put a lot of time into this motor. Some really cool dual injectors that we'll go into, and just a lot of neat parts. Very cool looking bike. I'm excited to get it out on the track. Jay Clark is the guy behind directing getting this thing built. Jay, tell us what you did to this thing.
Man, we get with good people. That's the first thing we do, and Jamie knows what to do to these things. He builds a ton of YZ250Fs for the amateurs. This bike's kind of taken over the amateur scene right now, and so he's just been after this thing full on. And so he's got a lot of the privateer pros and amateurs in this thing, and we just went after it and made a really fast YZ250F that's good for like a B, C rider, and you could step up a little bit more with this like full-on A pro level setup, spend more money. And of course, it is a lot of money to do this. Maybe you can do bits and pieces of it at one time. For this project bike build, as we said, we went with Jamie Ellis at Twisted Development. He went through the entire engine on this thing. So we went through everything. Pulled the crank out. Crankworks out of Arizona went and balanced the crank for the exact piston weight of the Vortex race piston we're running. Jamie set up the hot cam stage 1 camshafts to his liking and specs. Through Rocky Mountain ATVMC.com, we went with the Tusk wheel set. Really good value and hold up really well. Also have their rotors. The rear is the standard size and the front is an oversized with their brake line as well. We also have the Tusk rear brake pedal, which matches really well. We have all the Works connection bits, the bling pieces, the clutch perch is one of our favorite, and of course radiator braces help in case of a fall, to help you finish out a day of riding. So our foot pegs are from Scar, really aggressive, very sharp design, titanium, look very well made. We have our FMF 4.1 exhaust with our Mega Bomb header. Dave Schmidt went through the suspension for us, and the stock Yamaha stuff is very good. It's one of the best suspended bikes out there. We like the twin springs. So he just goes through and revalves them. He adds a DE bushing to the front end. We have no idea what that means, but it's supposed to be awesome. And so we do that and just valves it up so it's not as going to blow out for us in a little faster conditions. But overall, very good stock, and he's just able to modify those stock settings to make them work even better. The bike stock can be a little bit tall in the rear for a lot of riders, so we went with the JGR link. We lowered it. We're like at the 3 setting, which is just a bit lower than stock. They have different settings, and you can play around with where you like that to work with your suspension. The plastic in this thing is really updated, and the Cycra plastic helps the bike breathe a lot more. This bike in particular likes a lot more air. So their entire kit allows a lot more air into the motor. We have an entire blue kit on this bike with their full wraparound skid plate on the bottom in black. And for tires, of course, we go with the Geomax MX3S tires. Great tires for all-around conditions, especially here in California, about everywhere we ride. We have our applied top and bottom triple clamp for this bike as well. With our big bar mounts, we have our Renthal fat bars on there in 604 bin. We're also running the Renthal tacky grips, which are a new addition for them. For chain and sprockets, we've got our Regina chain with our Renthal sprockets. We've dropped down 1 tooth understock on this bike. Gone down to a 49. We think we can go to a 48 as well in some conditions. TM Designs makes really good chain guides and sliders. Here we have their blue chain guide on this bike. Finish that up with the CV4 hoses in blue to match this thing out. So when Jamie Ellis does the motor on these, he has different levels. And in this level, we've added in the twin injector setup. He adds an injector right below the air filter. It adds a bigger spray so the fuel comes in. He knows all the technical speak, but that fuel comes in and it helps it make better power in the bike. We also have a twin air filter cage, which gets rid of the backfire screen with our uni filter all set up right there. To run that, Jamie has to run a Vortex ignition, which he's able to map and allow it to program to run the dual injector setup.
We got some time on our 2016 YZ250F, and really fun bike. So the motor obviously is where a lot of our time was spent. Jamie Ellis over at Twisted Development did a great job. He's done bikes for us before, so I was expecting a lot of good things out of this, and I got it. Tons of horsepower. For us, one thing we need to do, we dropped one tooth from a 50 to a 49, and we need to go down to a 48. I kept finding myself thinking I was in first gear when I was really in second. So just makes so much power. You can run a smaller sprocket on the back. So that's a small adjustment we'll make, and this thing will be amazing. Really comes on strong and pulls to the moon. So the Yamaha makes a great power curve anyway, and this just basically makes it better everywhere. So really cool motor on this thing. Obviously the FMF pipe complements it really well. And then the suspension. The track was so beat up today. Probably the roughest I've seen Cahuilla Creek out here. We're kind of late in the day and had some wind on it. And I've never ridden with Schmidt Performance suspension, but Dave came out today from Schmidt and helped us get it dialed in. It's not actually valved for me. This is going to be ridden by someone else the rest of the year, but we got sag set, adjusted some things in the back to balance it out, and it actually worked really well. So really impressed with those guys. Love the spring fork. That's the first impression as soon as I get on the track is, wow, I'd love the feel of this fork. So nice job, Yamaha, sticking with what works. Appreciate it. Everybody that put parts onto this bike, really a cool project. It came out great. Thank you for your help. Thank you for watching.